Have you ever felt betrayed, misled, or drained by those around you? Relationships are complex, and trust is a delicate foundation that's easily shaken. Stoicism teaches us to look within for peace and resilience, yet it also guides us on whom we should invite into our inner circle. After all, not everyone deserves our time, energy, or respect. Some individuals, through their choices and behaviors, reveal their lack of integrity. It's critical for our well-being to recognize these types and act accordingly. In this video, we'll delve into 7 character types whom Stoicism warns us against placing trust in. Each type reflects specific traits that Stoic philosophy advises us to avoid, as these people can disrupt our peace, waste our time, and even challenge our moral integrity. Ask yourself, do you know anyone who seems trustworthy on the surface but has a pattern of betrayal? Or perhaps someone who feigns interest in what you say but isn't truly listening? We'll explore how Stoicism can sharpen our perception, helping us to see through appearances and make choices that align with our values. Stay until the end, because we'll discuss how to protect ourselves from these pitfalls and preserve our inner calm. With each trait, we'll build a clearer picture of those who seek only to use, manipulate, or drain others, offering insights on how to deal with each one wisely. Let's begin with a group many of us have encountered in some form: the two-faced individuals. 1. The two-faced people. We all desire genuine relationships built on trust, mutual respect, and honesty. However, two-faced people, those who act one way to your face and another behind your back, represent a threat to these values. Stoicism urges us to exercise caution with such people, for they harm not only our trust in others, but also our peace of mind. When someone smiles to your face and then spreads negativity about you elsewhere, what does this say about their character? Stoicism teaches us that virtue is the core of character, and inauthenticity corrodes that virtue. Two-faced people are difficult to spot initially because they often blend in as nice or helpful. Yet, over time, their true nature surfaces in small, revealing moments. Perhaps they compliment you to your face, but then gossip about your shortcomings to others. These actions erode trust and create an environment of doubt and tension. When we realize someone is two-faced, how do we respond? Do we confront them or simply distance ourselves? Stoicism reminds us to act in alignment with our principles, meaning we may choose silence over conflict to maintain our own peace, or if necessary, calmly but assertively address the behavior. Reflect on this. How often do you tolerate two-faced behavior in the people around you? And if you do, why? Is it because it feels easier to ignore it than to act? According to Stoicism, ignoring the actions of the untrustworthy is akin to allowing a wound to fester. The Stoic approach to such relationships is to recognize their true nature without letting anger or frustration disturb our calm. Acknowledge them as they are, but don't place your trust in them. It's essential to remember that their behavior is a reflection of their own flaws, not a reflection of your worth. Stoicism encourages us to focus on cultivating virtue within ourselves rather than dwelling on the flaws of others. But when someone's behavior is actively harming our sense of well-being or undermining our trust, Stoic wisdom suggests we take note and adjust our interactions with that person accordingly. To engage with them on a superficial level is one thing, but to entrust them with deeper parts of ourselves is another. Once their two-faced nature becomes evident, it's wise to create distance. This distance isn't a punishment for them, it's a preservation of your peace and virtue. If you've ever been blindsided by the actions of a two-faced person, consider this. Was there a sign you ignored? Perhaps a casual comment, a subtle contradiction, or an overly quick change of tone. Stoicism reminds us to observe carefully and listen to our intuition. Often, Our inner voice catches on to inconsistencies even when we consciously brush them aside. As you move forward, stay mindful. Recognize the patterns of two-faced behavior, not only in others, but if we're honest, in ourselves as well. Striving for honesty in all aspects of life is part of living virtuously. Next, we'll consider the gossiper, another type who disrupts trust and undermines the bonds of true friendship. 2. The gossipers. Gossip is a powerful tool, wielded too often with little regard for the harm it causes. People who engage in gossip, those who find satisfaction in spreading the private affairs of others, erode trust and create an environment of suspicion. In the teachings of Stoicism, gossip is considered a petty indulgence that distracts us from our true purpose and brings chaos to our relationships. Stoicism teaches us to value harmony, honesty, and authenticity, all of which are compromised when gossip enters the conversation. Consider this. Why do people gossip? What satisfaction do they derive from sharing another person's secrets or failures? Often, gossipers seek validation, a way to feel superior by exposing someone else's flaws. But if they reveal another's secrets to you, what is to stop them from revealing yours to someone else? Stoicism advises us to avoid indulging in such behavior and, just as importantly, to guard ourselves against those who do. Listening to gossip, even passively, entangles us in a cycle of negativity and can distort our perceptions of others, often unjustly. Have you ever thought about how much power you give to someone by sharing your personal stories with them? It may seem harmless, a bonding moment or a way to relieve stress. But remember, sharing intimate details with a gossiper is like scattering seeds in a storm. Once out of your hands, you have no control over where they land. Stoicism reminds us to be discerning in whom we trust and cautious with whom we share our personal lives. A true friend will guard your secrets as their own, while a gossiper, however friendly they may appear, lacks this virtue. We should also reflect on how often we might have participated in gossip ourselves, even unintentionally. Stoicism doesn't only call us to guard against the gossip of others, but also to hold ourselves accountable. By practicing discretion and resisting the urge to share others' private matters, we cultivate a sense of dignity and respect. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once advised, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." This means it is wiser to refrain from discussing things that do not concern us than to gain approval at the cost of someone else's dignity. If we look closely, we may notice that gossiping serves no constructive purpose. It does not improve character, strengthen bonds, or foster trust. Instead, it weakens relationships and often leads to misunderstandings and grudges. Stoicism encourages us to focus on our own lives and improvements rather than getting caught up in the faults or failures of others. When we distance ourselves from gossipers, we preserve our peace and protect our relationships from the harmful effects of idle talk. Think about the next time someone brings you gossip. How will you respond? Will you listen and silently condone it? Or will you choose the Stoic path of setting boundaries? We do not need to respond harshly. A simple redirection of the conversation can be enough. Stoicism reminds us that our actions should reflect our values, even in seemingly small moments. By refusing to engage in gossip, we maintain a level of integrity that speaks volumes, far more than words ever could. Let's move forward to the next type: narcissistic individuals, who present an equally challenging obstacle in maintaining a peaceful and genuine life. 3. The narcissists. Narcissists place themselves at the center of the universe, demanding attention, admiration, and validation from those around them. Stoicism teaches us to be indifferent to such behavior, to understand that their vanity is a reflection of their internal struggles, not of our worth or importance. Narcissistic individuals rarely value the needs of others, and their pursuit of self-glorification often leads them to disregard and even harm those close to them. Have you ever found yourself bending over backward to please someone, only to realize that they have no interest in your well-being? Such is the plight of those caught in the orbit of a narcissist. Narcissists draw people in with charm, yet their concern lies solely in their own image. When we allow ourselves to be affected by their behavior, we surrender control over our own peace. Stoicism reminds us that our sense of worth should come from within, not from the approval of others, especially those who manipulate affection for their gain. Stoic wisdom offers us a tool against narcissism: indifference. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When we choose not to engage with the vanity of a narcissist, we protect our self-worth. Narcissists often seek to elevate themselves by diminishing others, perhaps by placing blame, demanding attention, or deflecting criticism. By refusing to invest emotionally in their praise or criticism, we keep our sense of self secure. Consider this: are you tempted to gain approval from such individuals? Do you find yourself influenced by their opinions or drawn into their praise? Stoicism teaches that seeking validation from a narcissist is like chasing shadows. The more you pursue it, the further it slips away. Instead, let your actions reflect your own virtues, independent of the shifting admiration or indifference of those who think only of themselves. True self-worth is built through actions aligned with one's principles, not through the transient approval of others. We may also encounter narcissistic behavior in small ways within ourselves. Stoicism encourages us to root out our own tendencies toward self-centeredness. By striving to listen, empathize, and act with humility, we cultivate virtues that counteract vanity. In this way, the challenge posed by narcissists serves as a mirror, reflecting where we too might improve. In the end, choosing to distance ourselves from narcissistic influences is not an act of judgment, but one of preservation. It's a commitment to keep our inner peace intact, a choice to surround ourselves with people who value mutual respect and genuine connection. As we proceed, we'll look at those who constantly bring their problems to the forefront, often drowning others in their negativity. 4. Perpetually problematic individuals. Some individuals seem to carry a cloud of chaos with them wherever they go. They constantly experience bad luck, face endless difficulties, or find themselves entangled in conflicts, often projecting their misfortune onto others. Stoicism teaches us that our happiness lies in our ability to control our reactions, not in external circumstances. When someone consistently blames everything around them, other people, circumstances, or fate, it reveals a lack of personal responsibility, which can drain those who interact with them. Why do we feel compelled to help people who perpetually find themselves in difficult situations? Perhaps it's empathy, a sense of duty, or the desire to save them. Yet Stoicism warns us against sacrificing our peace for those who refuse to address the root causes of their problems. Epictetus advised that we should distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. While it's natural to want to help, we must ask ourselves if our aid will truly benefit them or merely enable their destructive patterns. Consider, is it truly bad luck that plagues them? Or could it be a pattern of poor choices and unresolved habits? Stoicism encourages us to examine the facts rather than get swept up by emotions or sympathy. When we look closely, we often find that those constantly embroiled in problems lack the willingness to learn from their mistakes. They may ignore advice, continue harmful behaviors, and resist personal growth. In this way, their problems become like quicksand, pulling down not only themselves, but also anyone who tries to rescue them without discernment. This is not to say that we should become indifferent to the suffering of others. Rather, we should approach such situations with wisdom and clarity. Stoicism teaches us that while compassion is a virtue, we must also be vigilant about how and where we direct our energy. Engaging too deeply with perpetually problematic individuals can lead to unnecessary stress and strain on our lives. As Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better person of you." When our relationships drain us rather than uplift us, it's wise to step back and assess whether they align with our values and goals. When we distance ourselves from such individuals, we aren't abandoning them. We are choosing to protect our mental and emotional health. In this way, we maintain our energy for those who genuinely value our support and show signs of growth and responsibility. Remember, helping others should not come at the cost of our own inner peace. Next, we'll explore another common trait that disrupts genuine communication: people who pretend to listen. 5. Those who pretend to listen. Few things feel as disheartening as speaking with someone who only pretends to listen. These individuals may nod or say, "I understand," but their actions show disinterest or distraction, often scrolling through their phone or offering empty responses. Stoicism teaches us that respect in conversation is fundamental. Real listening is a sign of respect and attentiveness, qualities that nourish mutual trust. When someone pretends to listen, they reveal a lack of value for the relationship itself. Have you ever felt unheard in a conversation? How often have you poured out your thoughts only to receive a half-hearted response? According to Stoicism, authentic dialogue fosters understanding and harmony. When a person doesn't truly listen, they deny this possibility, instead using the conversation as a means to maintain appearances or fulfill social expectations. Stoic philosophy advises that we value our time and energy, and spending it on those who aren't present in the conversation is a misuse of both. Reflect on how such interactions make you feel. Do you sense frustration, disappointment, or even disrespect? Stoicism teaches us to guard our peace by setting boundaries and choosing whom to engage with. If someone routinely dismisses our words or fails to listen, it's a sign to distance ourselves. After all, what is the purpose of speaking if there is no genuine exchange? When people show through their actions that they are not truly interested in our thoughts, Stoicism advises us to preserve our energy rather than trying to change them. This principle also extends inward. Stoicism encourages us to examine our own listening habits. Are we fully present when others speak, or are we preoccupied with our own thoughts and distractions? Marcus Aurelius advised, "The best answer to anger is silence." In a similar way, the best response to superficiality in conversation is disengagement. By choosing whom we give our attention to, we can foster relationships based on mutual respect and meaningful interaction. Let this serve as a reminder to practice active listening as well as expect it from others. When we engage in conversation with sincerity, we cultivate deeper connections and mutual understanding. Next, we turn our attention to another problematic character trait: the constantly irritating individuals. 6. The constantly irritating individuals. Have you ever met someone whose presence seems to agitate or provoke you without clear reason? This type of individual often acts in subtle, manipulative ways, making small comments or gestures that slowly chip away at your patience. Stoicism offers a valuable approach to dealing with such individuals, advocating for self-reflection rather than immediate emotional reaction. These people seek to disrupt others' peace for their amusement or gain, and by understanding their behavior, we can respond with reason rather than frustration. Why do some people seem to enjoy testing the limits of others' patience? Often, they gain a sense of control by subtly provoking reactions, as it gives them a sense of power or influence over others. Stoicism teaches us that our reactions are our own, and thus, we must guard them carefully. If someone continually irritates us, It is our duty to examine the situation rationally and determine whether the irritation is caused by our own perspective or by the other's manipulative tactics. Imagine you're in a situation where a person repeatedly makes sarcastic comments or subtly undermines you. How should you respond? Stoicism advises that instead of allowing anger to rise, we should consider the behavior in an objective light. Is this person's behavior an attempt to assert dominance or simply a reflection of their own insecurities? By choosing to remain calm, we prevent them from achieving their goal of disturbance. In doing so, we take control of the situation and demonstrate that we are unmoved by petty provocations. Stoicism encourages us to rise above such provocations by understanding that people who seek to irritate others are often unhappy within themselves. When we recognize this, we can respond with compassion, or even better, with detachment. There is no need to prove oneself to such individuals or to engage in their games. By staying grounded, we maintain our integrity and control over our reactions. Next time you encounter someone who seems intent on agitating you, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, are they worth the energy? Do their actions truly have power over my inner state? By choosing to remain unaffected, you reinforce your own strength and virtue. Moving on, we will discuss another challenging type, the indecisive individuals. 7. The indecisive individuals. Indecisiveness can be frustrating, especially when it comes from someone whose choices directly impact us. Indecisive individuals struggle to make decisions, constantly shifting their thoughts and directions, leading to an unpredictable and often unreliable relationship. Stoicism emphasizes that we should place our trust in stability and reason, both of which are missing in an indecisive person's approach to life. Why is indecisiveness so troubling? At its core, it signals a lack of personal conviction and inner strength. Stoicism teaches us that a person who cannot direct their own life cannot be relied upon to support or guide others. An indecisive person's uncertainty not only disrupts their own life, but can easily disturb the lives of those around them. Their inability to make choices often leaves others in suspense, waiting for a decision that may never come. Consider this. How can you plan or grow with someone who cannot choose a clear path? Stoicism reminds us to cultivate our own sense of purpose and direction rather than depending on those who waver. If you entrust an indecisive person with responsibility, you risk disappointment. In Stoic terms, this is a waste of your own energy and focus, both of which are better spent on people and tasks that contribute to your growth and stability. This principle encourages us to foster decisiveness within ourselves as well. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, what aligns with my values and goals? Rather than becoming paralyzed by options, embrace the Stoic approach of aligning decisions with your principles. By doing so, you not only become more reliable to others, but also reinforce your own character. In summary, Stoicism encourages us to surround ourselves with people who add value to our lives, and to distance ourselves from those whose behavior undermines trust, stability, and peace. By understanding these types and following Stoic principles, we can preserve our inner calm and build stronger, more authentic relationships. In recognizing and avoiding these 7 types of individuals, we apply the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to our lives. Each of these character types, in their own way, disrupts the peace and trust that we strive to cultivate. By maintaining awareness, setting boundaries, and practicing virtue, we align ourselves with the Stoic ideal of a calm and resilient inner life. Remember, life is too short to allow negative influences to disrupt our journey toward inner tranquility. If this video has helped you reflect on your relationships and choices, leave a comment below, share your experiences, or simply write, "I am resilient," to affirm your commitment to Stoic virtues. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with those who may benefit from this insight. Every step we take in applying Stoicism brings us closer to a life of peace and purpose. Thank you for watching, and may you move forward with clarity and strength.